Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this fourth, I believe, fourth edition of the International Day of the Chapters, our annual celebration of our diversity, of the strengths of our network of ENAC alumni presence all around the world. Again, this year we have a great show for you today. Okay, we have several segments to talk about everything we've been doing in the different regions of the world, everything that we have on our list for next year. You're going to hear from our leaders on several actions and programs that we are conducting and most importantly, we want to hear from you today. Okay, so any questions that you have, anything that you want to voice today, good or bad, please, that's your moment as well. Okay, that International Day of the Chapters, it's also to hear from our members all around the world. So if you have questions, okay, you have two ways to share them with us. First, you can type your question or questions in the chat box, or you can wait for the town hall moment that we're going to have in a moment in order to ask your questions. But I strongly invite you to type your questions in the chat box like this. We have them in hand, okay, for the town hall segment, okay, and that these can be questions or comments, whatever love you want to share with us, okay, please do so. Couple of things before we start. This event is not just a live event, okay? After IDC 2025 and later today, you can watch additional videos, okay, that were prepared by several of our chapters on our YouTube channel. Okay, you can watch these videos, and also I invite you to promote IDC 2025 and talk about ENAC alumni and everything that we're doing around the world on the social media platforms. Please use the hashtag IDC 2025, okay, and do not forget to also call out ENAC alumni. Use the handle for the various on the various social media platforms where we are active. Thanks to Estelle, who posts regularly on behalf of the association. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Super. So here is the agenda for today. Okay, we're going to start with a welcome address from our president, Marc HOUALLA. Then I'm going to give an address on the state of the chapters, okay, the state of our network around the world. Then we're going to talk about our calendar of events for 2026, which is packed with legacy, but also new types of events that we're going to roll out next year. We're going to have a panel session, okay, on the chapters serving our alumni in aviation around the world. Then we'll have a town hall moment for you to ask your questions, okay? And I count on you. You know, I want you to have a lot of questions for us today. We will have a moment as well to talk about your money at work, you know, the annual due and so on. Then we will reveal the 2024 Chair of the Year Award recipient, a few announcements, and last but definitely not the least, today we have a great keynote speaker, Jane HUPE, Deputy Director of Environment at the Air Transport Directorate of ICAO. Okay, what great agenda today. I hope you are as excited as I am. Okay, and without further ado, we're going to start with a welcome address from Marc HOUALLA, President of ENAC Alumni. Marc, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gaël, and good morning to all from French Polynesia. First of all, maybe we had a couple of thunderstorms and bad weather here in French Polynesia, and my Wi-Fi is, I think, highly unstable. So maybe I will shut down my video. Okay. First of all, it's really Truly an honor to speak with you today. And I would like very much to begin this session by recognizing and I would say celebrating the incredible activity and energy that you have shown over the past years. Thanks to your support, I would say ENAC alumni remains connected across continents, notably with online events taking place all year long, from Africa to Asia, America to Europe. You have enabled us to extend our network. Looking ahead, I'm proud to share that we are continuing to work hard on bringing our day of conference and roundtable, the État de l'air, the state of the air, not only, which is one, as you know, one of our flagship initiatives, and we are really dedicated to extend this and bringing this state of the air conference to various regions. Of course, these conferences is taking place every year in France, but Gladys opened the way last year in Africa, and we are now for next year we are planning some developments also as well in China, and we are also already exploring how we might expand this concept to serve other regions as well. And please let me know if some of you volunteer to organize such an event in your region. I would like very much to highlight the remarkable creativity that I've seen from all of you. Our chapter has been so successful at creating opportunities for connection and gathering alumni, conducting meaningful activities, and fostering collaboration are ways of advancing our goals. From my point of view, we are not only serving people within our, local networks, but we are also helping aviation to evolve. And for this, I'm very, very deeply grateful. Over the years, ENAC Alumni has gained increasing recognition as an organization that positively impacts the aviation industry, not just in France, but also internationally. Just have a look at the project we have led or supported, like Sustainable Aviation Initiative, Shipping Airport of the Futures, and all the partnerships we have established with stakeholders and institutions worldwide. As we move forward into new opportunities, I would say that we face the fact that we need you. We need you to continue representing the value of ENAC alumni, initiate new projects, and keep the energy alive. Equally important, we need to hear from you about your expectation, your chapter's challenges, and your ideas from how we could do better. Your feedback is essential as we shape the future of ENAC alumni. Together, we have an incredible ability to inspire and innovate in aviation while strengthening the tide of our alumni family across the globe. So I would say thank you for everything you do. Thanks for sharing this journey with us. I'm really inspired by what you have accomplished so far and excited about what lies ahead. And if you allow me, my final words would be for Gaël and his great work. I've never seen someone so dedicated in coordinating these international encounters and with such a talent. So my deepest appreciation and thanks to Gaël. I wish you a super great meeting, and I hope and I wish we could see each other very soon in France or wherever in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marc. Thank you for your kind words. But also thank you for your leadership. I think I already said that in the past, but we are very lucky to have you as our president. because you do recognize and you do appreciate the importance of embracing our global presence around the world, the diversity of our network, and you've always supported, our actions toward our members all around the world. That is very important. We've put a lot
That
of
is
effort, a
cultural.
lot of
That is cultural.
energy, absolutely, to reach out to everyone, regardless where you come from, where you are, where are your projects. Okay. And again, as Marc said, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Okay. You want to do something with, for, or in relation with ENAC alumni. You are seeking help from ENAC alumni to facilitate your project somewhere, please reach out to us. We are here for you. Okay. Thank you.
That's right. Good day. Good day to all.
Excellent. Thank you,
Bye.
Marc. Next segment, without further ado, the state of the chapters. Okay, we're going to talk about what has happened, around the world over the past 12 months. So here is a map, okay, of our global network. Okay, in deep blue, you have the national and regional chapters. In green are countries where we don't have yet an organized chapter, but there is a liaison, okay, and you can find the name of that person on the website of ENAC alumni, okay, and that map doesn't look different from what you saw last year, okay, and indeed the distribution of these two colors hasn't changed, but we've made a few changes to the way countries that are grouped together, and we've made a few changes as well on how some of these chapters are organized internally, if you want. And just to give you a few examples, uh, so we activated, this summer, our great chapter in Brazil, and I know I've been talking about Brazil for a few years already. We found leaders, and we found a core group of people interested in, activating the chapter and running the show. So I'm very, very happy that Brazil, that is such a great aviation nation, and where we have so many members, that Brazil has finally a chapter that is activated. Okay, and we'll talk more about what will happen in the next coming months in Brazil in a moment. Okay, we also created a caucus, a Hong Kong caucus within our chapter in China. We reorganized a bit the way we are doing chapters in Southeast Asia. In particular, we are grouping together our very active Singapore chapter with everything that we've had in the mainland Southeast Asia region. Okay, so it's a super regional chapter that is being headed by Roger Duong, who was our chair in Singapore and now our chair in Singapore and MSEA. Still a work in progress, the Asian region. Okay, we still want to create more super chapters here and there and create programs for fostering collaboration and so on. So stay tuned with us, but we'll talk more about that in the next coming slides. Occitanian Canada, we are moving towards the creation of caucuses as well, okay, with local coordinators and so on, because these are big chapters with a lot of people, but a broad territory as well to cover. And we don't want to have any parts, if you want, of these countries or regions that are being forgotten. We want to make sure that, again, wherever you are, wherever you come from, or wherever you have projects, we are here for you. Okay, that's our motto, and that's how we are developing chapters and programs to be as close as possible from you. Okay. Um, here is a list of all the appointments of chairs, vice chairs, and coordinators for the past 12 months since we had our last international day of the chapter. So congratulations to all the new appointees. Okay, Jean-Michel in Occitanie, again a very big chapter in terms of number of members. It's one of our top two chapters. Stojansz Grzeszewski, who was our vice chair of the year last year, okay, is now the chair of the CEEC chapter, so Central and Eastern Europe. And Borna is now supporting him. Brazil, again, I talked about Brazil a minute ago. So very happy that we've activated this chapter that is now chaired by Marco and is assisted by his vice chair, Plinio. I talked about Singapore and the MSCA region with Roger, who's been a long time chair of the Singapore chapter, and this caucus in Hong Kong with Nicolas and Florian running the show there. So you see, we keep appointing new chairs, activating new chapters, but also doing some rotations here and there. Okay, and in particular, I would like to mention that our chair in Germany expressed his interest in doing a rotation. So if you are interested in taking over our chapter in Germany, please raise your hand. Okay, you can volunteer today. You can leave your name in the chat box, or you can send me an email. Okay, in order to express your interest in becoming the chair of ENAC Alumni Germany. Okay, and my email address is gael.lebris@wsp.com. Okay. So what we promised last year in 2024, we said that we were going to reshuffle our presence in the Asian region. Again, we thought that the way we organized chapters there and our activities were a bit suboptimal. So we have been working on grouping a bit differently the countries there, having programs. We have a great network of alumni in the region, programs for fostering collaboration and advancing aviation, at different levels. Mission accomplished, but at the same time, still a work in progress. Okay, let's be honest. We cleaned a bit the structure of our chapters in the MSCA region. So that's done. But at the same time, we want to keep, optimizing our operations in the rest of the region. So I would say a work in progress still. Okay, keep developing the state of the air in other regions and countries. Marc touched base about that a moment ago. We are working, on holding a new edition of the State of the Air in Africa next year, and potentially in a couple of other countries. So still a work in progress as well. Direct collaboration between think tanks and chapters. So very happy with that. We are full force on that. Okay, we have several activities that are ongoing. We have a few planning groups working on international workshops, that are co-branded, if you want, between our think tanks and our chapters. And regarding the continuation of our conversation on the future of aviation, here as well, we have several collaborations with various institutions, to have members of ENAC alumni contributing to working groups, studies, and so on the future of aviation, different topics on the future of aviation. And we'll talk more about that in a few slides. Okay, so few items are not complete yet, but a work in progress, and we did made some serious progress on the matter. The rest is great success, and we that's not the end of our work. Of course, we want to keep doing these collaborations between our groups internally within ENAC alumni, but also with other institutions, because our goal is not just to talk to ourselves, right? Talk within ENAC alumni and to our members, but we want also, and that's actually literally in our statute, one of our objectives is also to contribute to the advancement and the progress of sustainable aviation. Okay, so that's part also of what we're doing. Okay. And our action plan for 2026. So again, always trying to be more efficient, to do more outreach, and to have a larger bandwidth, if you want, as an international development domain of ENAC alumni. I'm going to work next year on appointing regional deputies. Okay, I cannot be everywhere. We are activating so many chapters. That at some point it makes sense for me to have deputies to help me coordinate on the day-to-day basis everything that the chapters are doing. Okay, so for now, I'm looking at potentially four regional deputies, one for the Americas, one for Europe, one for Asia and Middle East, Asia Pacific and Middle East, and another one for Africa. These regional deputies should be appointed amongst our chairs and vice chairs. If you are interested in helping with, again, coordinating these actions and programs and potentially running a chapter, let me know. Okay. Again, we still have some vacant seats among our chairs and vice chairs for all of these chapters. And again, I'm going to appoint four regional deputies among these people in order to help me coordinating these operations on a day-to-day basis next year. Okay. So again, you want to volunteer, you want to become a chair or vice chair of an ENAC alumni chapter, please raise your hand anytime. Finalize restructuring our presence in the Asian region. I already talked about that on the next slide. That's what we're going to do there. We will hold again the state of the air in Africa next year. Tentatively, we were planning initially to hold that second edition this year in 2025. For different reasons, we decided to postpone that event to next year in order to make sure that it's a great success, as it was 2 years ago for the first edition in Cameroon. It was such a great success with Gladys leading the planning activities and the organization of that great conference. We want the second edition of the State of the Air in Africa to be a big success as well. So next year, okay, we'll have a second edition of the State of the Air in Africa. Okay. Hold at least one international workshop. Yeah, so that's kind of a crossover or collaboration between think tanks and chapters. We want to identify at least a couple of hot topics every year, okay, and organize international workshops, virtual or hybrid, in order to tackle these issues. Okay, and I'm talking about issues where we can bring a specific value added, okay, where we can make a difference as an organization. And not just with ENAC alumni, but also participants and contributors from outside of our community. Okay, so as a first try, if you want, we are working on the first international online workshop that should be on air passengers' rights. Okay, we don't have a date yet, but that will be our first virtual workshop of that kind, which is again a collaboration between two think tanks, actually, aviation policies and airports, and several different chapters, okay, that are currently working on that event. And last but not the least, conduct new collaboration on the future of aviation. Again, we have these two studies that we released last year, okay, on the future of airports and on sustainable aircraft technologies. We are active in other domains as well, and our goal is not just to release white papers and reports on the ENAC alumni website. Obviously, it's most importantly to disseminate that knowledge, that these recommendations, that intelligence, if you want, within the rest of the industry, and contributing to conversations that are run by other institutions. Okay, just to give you a few examples, with the future of airports, for instance, we shared the findings of the future of airports with Air and Space Academy in France. Okay, we are currently, okay, one of the partner of a big study on future airports, that is being conducted by the Atomic and Renewable Energy Commission, the CEA in France. Okay, we are actively working with ACI Asia Pacific in order to inject all that knowledge coming from the future of airports into what they are doing on the matter at the regional level. And these are just three examples within that program, of the future of airports, and how we are building these collaborations, between ENAC alumni and the rest of the industry, in order to have that good conversation, in order to share all the knowledge that we collectively built, during these workshops, these projects, these roundtables, and so on, in order to again fulfill one of the key missions that is literally in our statutes. That it's about not only serving the alumni community, but also contributing to the advancement of sustainable aviation. Okay. And all of these is happening also thanks to you, okay, our members. So thank you again for being active with ENAC alumni. And if you're not yet active or as active as you would like to be, if you're looking for information or if you have questions on how you could contribute to some of the activities and programs I mentioned, or you want to create a new program, do something new, please reach out to us at any time. We're here for you to listen to your ideas, and to help you make that happen. Okay. And thank you again to all our volunteers all around the world, working on making these things happening all year long. Okay. And you can make a difference. Again, become an active member. What does active member mean? It means that you paid your annual due. Okay. You are a member of ENAC alumni one way or the other, but the difference between active and non-active member is that you pay your annual due. And thanks to that, you can vote in the elections of the Board of Administrators and any referendum that we do. You can also run for election for the Board of Administrators. For that, you need to be an active member. And there are also certain services, discounts, and so on that are only accessible to active members. Okay, so if you can pay your annual due, we strongly encourage you to contribute financially to the life of the association, and that your annual due is very important, to fund all of these activities and programs that I'm mentioning here. Okay. Volunteer with your local chapter. Again, we have a chapter or a liaison regardless where you are, where you come from, or where you have projects. Okay, so you want to do something with us, you will find a local representative, if you want, of the association, and most likely a local chapter in your wherever you are. Okay. And you can find the list of these chapters on the website of ENAC Alumni, along with the contact information of the chair or the liaison. Okay, so please volunteer with your local chapter. Said that a few times already. Okay, but you want to volunteer, you would like to be a chair, vice chair, or coordinator of one of the chapters, raise your hand. Okay. Do not miss all the local events, in person or hybrid, that are happening all year long. So many webinars, so many after work events, so many roundtables, site visits, and so on. Okay. Do not miss these events. These are great opportunities to network, to learn more about the industry, about the latest and greatest, to meet industry leaders and so on, to contribute to the conversation. Okay, so you can find the list of these events, of most of these events, in the calendar, the online calendar on the website of ENAC Alumni. Some of these events may not be in the calendar, but you will be made aware of them through the mailing list of the chapter. So again, it's very important, to register, to join the chapters that you are interested in. Okay, and you may be interested in a part of the world where you're not based, or you're not living there yet. you can join any chapter you're interested in. Just one click. You go on, you go to the website, you click on the list of the chapters, you scroll down, you click on the chapters you're interested in, and one click, join. That's it. After logging into your ENAC alumni member account, it's that simple. Okay. Uh, Post your job offers with ENAC alumni, please. Share these job announcements with your peers, and by doing so, you can reach to the very broad community of alumni that we have in so many domains of the industry and outside of the aviation industry as well. Okay, I'm going to go on the website right now just to check how many members we have today. See, so I'm scrolling down on the home page. At the bottom of it, we find a count. So as of today, we have 30,357 alumni. Can you believe it? Over 30,000 members around the world. Is that big of a network that we have? Okay, and thank you for being part of that network. Okay, so being active with ENAC alumni, posting your job offers and else, it's also, being actively part and reaching out to that very big network of aviation and beyond professionals, all around the world. And you can also help, job seekers, by tagging job openings on social media platforms with the hashtag recruit ENAC or recruit ENAC if that job is in French somehow. Okay. That job announcement is in French. Okay. So again, by doing little things, you can make a difference. And if you are available to do bigger things as well, well, please volunteer. Okay. What's going on here? Sorry, we have a little glitch. Here we are. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the 2026 calendar of events. This is just a tentative calendar. Okay, we are refining that list of events, and you should see more of these, more items if you want in the calendar by the end of the year. But here is just a sneak peek, if you want, on what we're going to do next year. So in March, we have a big day at ENAC. Okay, if you're in Toulouse or around, International Women's Day, with conferences, live events. There is a concert as well at ENAC in Toulouse. Okay, so that's for if you are in Occitanie. In October, now it's kind of a tradition. Okay, there will be another very successful edition of the State of the Air in Paris. Okay, that's a signature event of ENAC alumni with a masterclass series where you can hear from subject matter experts and industry leaders on so many hot topics in aviation. Okay. In December, we'll have again the International Day of the Chapters. Okay, that's for the three events that are scheduled. Okay. Now we have a bunch of events that are not yet in the calendar, but that will happen next year. And these are big events that I want you to have on your scope. Again, we will organize the State of the Air again in Africa. There will be a second edition next year. Okay, we will confirm the locations, the date, and so on somewhere next year. Okay, but that will happen. Okay, we started something great with Gladys and other local aviation leaders during the first edition in Cameroon. Africa is very important for our association. We have a broad membership there. We know that aviation will make a difference on the development of the continent, and we want the State of the Air to, be one of these places where the conversation of the present and the future of aviation in Africa happens. Okay. We are working on a few other state-of-the-art events around the world, and most likely we'll have a state-of-the-art in China next year as well. Marc talked about that a few times already this year during the public events that we had. That workshop on air passengers' rights, maybe we'll have a second workshop, we'll see. But that will be definitely our first international online workshop, and we'll produce a white paper or proceedings in order to share the result of this workshop with the broader industry. And then we have so many other events that, again, are not in the calendar yet, but that we organize events, activities, and else when they happen every year. I'm thinking about Girls in the Move Week that is very important to promote and to celebrate aviation, the presence of women in aviation, but and in transportation, generally speaking, hence the title, but also to promote aviation careers to young girls. Okay, because again, the earliest in your life you learn about aviation and the great careers that you can pursue with aviation and the happiness I'm sure that you all have in being part of that great family. The more we can inspire, kids and here girls in particular, to join that big and that great family that we are part of. Okay. And other events for the International Civil Aviation Day and so on. I'm not going to list all of them here because we're still working on scheduling all of this. Webinars all year long. We have webinars, and I'm very happy with webinars. And I think that's definitely something to mention here today for International Day of the Chapters because I told you I want to see more webinars that are given in English or other languages. That I want to see members from all around the world giving webinars, and this is now this is happening. This is happening. You go to our YouTube channel. You look at the different playlists that we have. We have a lot of webinars given from members, subject matter experts, leaders, and so on from all around the world. And actually, as a matter of fact, the two first webinars of 2026 should be given from members based in Cameroon and Nepal. Okay, so again, we have a global presence, we have a global network, and we want to embrace that dimension of our network. So wherever you are, wherever you're from, wherever you have projects, you want to give a webinar, okay, you want to share your knowledge, you want to share your findings, you are a subject matter expert or a leader, raise your hand. Okay, we'll be very glad to organize that webinar for you. Okay, we'll take care of the logistics. You just need to bring your brain, okay, and your voice, and to present that said webinar. Okay. Okay, and now for the next segment, we are going to have a panel session on the chapters serving our alumni in aviation around the world. So I'm going to call our panelists. So we have Amandine Giquel-Leduc for Canada. We have Marco Porto, our chair in Brazil, and we have or not Jules and Roger. I know they will potentially we're having some issues, technical issues for joining us today. I don't know if they are in the virtual room. Unfortunately, I don't see them. So I believe that we're going to do that panel session with Amandine and Marco. Good morning, actually. We are in the same time zone, believe it or not, but the three panelists today are in the same time zone. That's incredible. The three of us are based in the Americas. Very good. So I wanted to have that panel session along with Amandine. That, by the way, I want to give a special thanks to Amandine for assisting me in the planning activities for this International Day of the Chapters 2025. We wanted to have that panel session in order to talk about the way chapters are serving our local communities, but also contributing to the advancement of aviation around the world. And here we have two very interesting chapters. Amandine for the Canada chapter. It's a kind of an old chapter, actually, one of our first ever chapter, previously known as the Quebec chapter. And a few years ago, we expanded that chapter to the rest of Canada. And it's a huge chapter. I think it's one of our four largest chapters in terms of membership, number of members. And of course, if we think about Canada and aviation, immediately, I'm sure you're all thinking about all the institutions, right, and organizations that are in Montreal. That is kind of one of the places to be, if you want, when it comes to aviation, where you have so many important conversations happening, on the present and the future of aviation. And Marco Porto in Brazil, this is a new chapter that we just activated, but that is so promising because we have such a big and such a great community of members in Brasilia and the rest of Brazil, of course, and so many great ideas for activities and programs that are coming out of this chapter. So a big potential here. Okay, so first I would like to give you both an opportunity to maybe introduce yourself to our members, and maybe you can also say a few words about uh, all the great things that make your respective chapter interesting for the local members. Okay, Amandine, do you want to start?
Yes, thank you so much, Gaël, and hello, everybody. So my name is Amandine Jiquel. I'm a promo ENAC MTA 2004. I work for IATA as manager industry relationships for Canada and Bermuda, and I'm based in Montreal. I've been working for IATA for the past 20 years and 16 years in Montreal. So I have the pleasure to chair the Canada chapter together with Hélène Manzoni, who is the vice chair. And as you said, Gaël, we are one of the biggest group worldwide with the majority of participants in Montreal, Quebec. So we have around 230 people in the group, a few people in other provinces. But yeah, this is what makes Canada a bit unique, is the fact that, you know, the concentration of members are here in Montreal. Yeah, and I guess that you know, the particularity also of our group is that we used to have a group, as you said, that was called Quebec in the past, that we expanded to Canada at large. And I think it's nice because even if the bulk of the group is in Montreal, we are trying to have more members in other provinces, which makes Canada very rich, you know, if we have all those members scattered in the country. Yeah, so that's all about me for now. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Marco, I think you're next.
Hello. I'm a civil engineer. I graduated from ENAC in 2021 for Air Navigation Management program that took place in Brasilia. So most of our chapter members are residents of the Brasilia area, the capital of Brazil, and some are from São Paulo. Our chapter is just beginning its operation, so I think we're one of the newest chapters, as Gaël has already shown us, and I believe that one of the particularities that we have is that most of the members from the chapters are public workers, and they come from different backgrounds, mostly ATC and Civil Aviation Authority of Brazil. So most of the alumni members already knew each other from work, so it's easier to get in contact with everyone.
Very good. Thank you, Marco. And as you mentioned, and as I mentioned before, we activated our chapter in Brazil this summer, right after work, with our local members in Brasilia. Can you tell us more about the needs of the community locally, about your projects for the next coming months, about the great ideas that came out of that conversation that we had this summer? And if you want, if you have a message to members that you haven't reached out yet, why would you join the Brazil chapter of ENAC Alumni if you want?
Yeah, well, I believe that the discussions that we can promote can go beyond safety and economic regulation. We can discuss topics that some of the members don't see on their daily work. So I'm a bit of an idealistic person. So my paper was on the logistics of human organ transplants. So it's a bit out of the box. So I find that this type of discussions that we can promote here can bring meaningful results for the aviation sector, and I think that may motivate a lot of the people from our alumni members and from other countries as well. In Brazil, we have a lot of interesting topics that are very hot right now. For example, passenger rights is one of them, and of course self-production of Jane's here, so it's on her area, and I think we have a great opportunity to discuss all these different subjects that sometimes we don't see on our daily work.
No, muito bom. And here, Marco, I think you're touching something very important, is that all of these chapters, they serve different purposes at the same time, right? They bring together the local community, for promoting a friendship between members, having a good time and so on, through all the after work events or else. But also, it's a place where you can, contribute to the advancements of aviation, talk about the hot topics within the industry, start something that's going to make a difference for aviation, and we've seen that already in various chapters. I'm thinking about the National Aviation Think Tank that was created, starting with a chapter, in Cameroon, and that is now having a positive influence at the national level on various conversations. I'm thinking about, of course, the State of the Air in Paris, right? I mean, what a great event that is now recognized as a forum of reference, by so many stakeholders, media outlets and so on, and that is a very big, masterclass series event that we are holding every year in Paris, and now coming to other regions of the world. And again, these are just two examples among so many of them, that so many great activities and programs that are happening all around the world, all year long, And what about Canada, Amandine? This year you organized a meeting, at the margin of the ICAO General Assembly. Same thing, you have a very active chapter, Can you tell us more about all the magic happening around the Canada chapter all year long, and how you are, if you want, fulfilling these kind of two pillars of our statutes, first serving the alumni community, but also contributing to the advancement of civil aviation?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, Gaël. Well, it's true that here we try to have an active and informed and engaged group, and I see some of my members actually on the online. So thank you for participating. So what we do here is we send a monthly newsletter to the chapter recipients with the latest news about our group, future events to attend, latest news about ENAC Alumni, which is very important because not everybody goes on the ENAC Alumni website. We're talking also about women in aviation in Canada, etc. And we also have quarterly afterworks in Montreal together, and welcome new joiners, for example, which are open actually to all ENAC alumni in town if they are. And we had a couple of occasions where people were visiting for work in Montreal, and we had them, onboarding our afterwards. So it was very nice. Sometimes we even have special guests. Recently, we welcomed the ambassador and permanent representative of France to ICAO in a gathering. We have a special event like the one we did during the ICAO assembly in September. And sometimes we do fun activities, like this summer we organized a pétanque tournament. So that was really, really nice. And once a year, we're trying to do a behind-the-scene tour in an interesting location linked to aviation. So, for example, we visited ICAO at springtime. So it was great for people from the group to see ICAO from inside, you know, and see the museum, see the various iconic room, and so on. So I think we'll continue to do that because it adds a lot of value to members to see special places. Yeah. And then we are also, yeah. No, and
go ahead.
I wanted,
go ahead.
Yes. Oh, yeah, thank you. So I wanted also to talk about something you mentioned earlier, Gaël, Montreal being the world civil aviation capital, and Canada being very attractive for work. Our chapter is quite solicited by ENAC alumni or students looking for experiences locally. And we have created a working group which mission is to write a guide that will increase ENAC's visibility in Canada by informing local key stakeholders about our school. So we're talking about the values of our diploma, the unique expertise we have from ENAC, the fact that students and new graduates have great knowledge about aviation when they start for a job or an internship. So we are hoping to set up partnerships with key players and open doors with industry at large in Canada. And at the same time, this guide will inform people about the conditions of working in Canada, the local work mindset, the immigration process, and so on. A bit like what we did in the webinar in November 2024. So this is what we're, you know, doing to try to have a link with local aviation here.
Fantastic. Thank you and your members for everything that you're doing. What you just mentioned now is actually a great transition to the next segment of our panel discussion. You know, all the services to the alumni and to the industry. Again, the title of this panel session is Serving Our Alumni and Aviation Around the World. Okay, we chose that title on purpose. You know. A lot of chapters are literally rolling out and providing direct services to the members. You mentioned the guidance that you are developing, you know, for promoting ENAC and the ENAC alumni community to the industry and so on. A few years ago in the United States, we developed a note, you know, on in order to help members, newcomers, you know, to understand all the tax system in the United States, you know, and also all the maze of institutions, licensing, and so on in the United States. Maybe we can talk a bit more about that because I think it's very important, and I don't think that everyone, that all our members are aware of everything that the chapters are doing, you know, in order to provide direct services to our local communities and so on. And maybe Marco, why don't you say a few words about that question of degree recognitions, you know, the ENAC degree recognition in Brazil, that is a bit of a problem, in particular in the public sector, and how we are currently working on trying to find a solution, you know, for again, making sure that our graduates get all the recognition that they should from the degrees that they're getting from ENAC.
Yes, that's an issue because, as I mentioned, most of the alumni in Brazil work for the government, and especially the alumni that work at the Civil Aviation Authority were impacted on bonuses that they receive for capacitation for when you have a master's degree. And the issue is that the Ministry of Education of Brazil doesn't recognize the certificate from ENAC, and the Civil Aviation Authority doesn't accept that as a title that is eligible for the bonus. So most of the alumni were impacted on that, and we're trying to work with the Civil Aviation Authority and trying to understand the legal issues behind that, so we can try to solve it. I believe that that is the main issue that we need to tackle in order to provide value for our alumni in Brazil.
Okay, everyone, you heard from Marco, you heard from Amandine. This is how deep we're going into the weed, into doing problem solving for you, literally. But in order to do problem solving, we need to be aware of these problems. Okay, and that's why it's also very important that we hear from you. Okay, I'm sure there are issues where the association can help you, make a difference, solve issues, enhance the visibility of our community of the degrees coming from ENAC, fostering B2B, etc. But in order for us to be aware of that potential, we need to have members, making us aware of that, bringing that awareness to us. So again, do not hesitate to reach to your local leaders, or to just send an email to the general, if you want, association email address. And maybe Estelle, you can copy paste the email address of ENAC alumni to make sure that everyone has it. I already copy pasted actually the link to our website, where you can find that email address and other contact information, along with basically everything that you need for reaching out to and getting involved with the association. Okay, so again, if you're not sure who you should be reaching out to, you can write to contact@alumni.enac.fr. Okay. Very good. Maybe we can have a last discussion item here about what's coming up, for your chapters. What's going to happen in the next coming weeks or months. Can you tell us more about your projects, for maybe the end of the year and then 2026, when it comes to the activities and programs of your respective chapter? Amandine, you want to start?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks. So 2026, we already have in the calendar, and you can see it on the website already, the 4 afterworks taking place in Montreal in February, May, August, and November. So those are the usual things we do. We are planning to have the visit of the NAF Canada control center in Dorval, next to the airport of Montreal. So this is going to be a fun visit to do. And then the sky is the limit, for activities. What the group would like to do on top of this guidance material I talked about is, maybe because, the industry is gonna be short of staff, in the future, we have to think of the next generation of aviation professionals. And I myself volunteer in an association called Elevate Aviation, based in Canada. It's actually a platform for underrepresented groups and women to thrive and succeed in a career in aviation. And I'm the Quebec ambassador for that organization. And one of the programs they have is to talk to kids about aviation, to inspire them to join our sector in their future for their career. And I think this is something that our chapter would like to tackle, is to maybe do a pilot in a primary school, to have people from the industry talk to kids about career in aviation, what job they have, to get a sparkle, or to ignite a sparkle, or to create some passion already, and to inspire those kids. Because I think this is where we should start talking about aviation. It's not, in university, it's when they are children. So this is something that we have on our agenda for 2026.
Fantastic. No, and what you just said, Amandine, is very important. Of course, we need to promote aviation careers, to high school students, undergrad students, and so on is very important. But it's kind of almost too late already, if we want to, as you said, inspire the next generation of aviation professionals, and explain, all the great value added that aviation brings to the world, and all the happiness, of that you can have, by having a dynamic career in aviation, joining that big family. And that starts, as you said, in elementary school and so on. So I'm so glad you're doing with your members all that outreach. And you were talking about site visits and so on. Just for everyone's awareness, we have a Council of the Chapters, which is a working group with all the chairs and vice chairs. We meet at least quarterly, and we work on common goals, etc. Best practice. We share best practice and so on. And one thing that I voiced last time that we met is that I want chapters to do more in-person meetings and site visits, meetings with local leaders, visiting industry sites and so on, airports, manufacturing sites, whatever, research centers, because these are great opportunities, of course, to meet together, but also to learn, from to learn about maybe parts of the industry that you're not necessarily familiar with. Okay. Um, Marco, what about Brazil? What's happening in Brazil next year? Can you tell us more about your projects for the chapter and what might be on the agenda for 2026 in terms of events, activities, and so on?
Yeah, sure. First, I'd like to thank you for your guidance and support, and also Amandine and Pierre. We're discussing together with Pierre, Amandine, and yourself a workshop to discuss passenger rights, and in the beginning of 2026, around April. And that's an important event for us. As I mentioned, I don't know if all of you are aware, but judicialization in Brazil is pretty high, and some argue that that's disproportionately high comparing with the quality of service. So we have punctual airlines and punctual airports, and we still get a lot of lawsuits against the airlines. So it's an important topic for us, and that will happen in the beginning of 2026. We're also planning the first in-person meeting here in Brasilia to celebrate 5 years of our class, so it will be a reunion. And we are still advancing on the recognition of the certificates. That's an important issue, as we mentioned before. And that's what we have planned for the beginning of 2026. If we can identify other topics, I'll be sure to talk to you about them. You're very supportive on our ideas here in Brazil. Thank you a lot for that.
Always. And thank you, Marco and Pino as well, and all the local membership for being so dedicated to the chapter, to the local community, to ENAC alumni, generally speaking, and of course to aviation. Okay, and what a great list of events. And we're just in December, and you're just talking about the beginning of the year. That's already a great list of events. Okay, before we move to the next segment, maybe one last message that you would like to give to the local membership in Canada and in Brazil, respectively. Amandine, you want to start?
Yes, of course. Thanks. So, well, my message would be register to our chapter, reach out and join us for afterwards. We're really a cool group of people that would like to make more connections and welcome new joiners. We're always looking for members to help us in our activities as well, such as the guidance material I was referring to, or to lead the new caucuses we're going to have in Canada. And last but not least, I'd like to reiterate a message you gave Gaël earlier about the importance for alumni to support ENAC, the association, with annual dues. We could do way more if we had more support and donations. So thank you for considering this important message. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amandine. What about you, Marco?
Yeah, on my side, I'd like to invite everyone and every single alumni in Brazil to support and to join the chapter. And I'd also would like to invite everyone to help us promoting really meaningful discussions that can go beyond, as I said, safety and security, and discuss healthcare in aviation, regional aviation, a lot of different topics that we can work together in Brazil and build a meaningful results for the civil aviation in Brazil. Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Marco. And thank you both. And by the way, Amandine, you were saying that the sky is the limit. It's not even anymore the limit. We even have a special
right.
think tank that talks about commercial space transportation, orbital activities, and deep space operations. So aviation has no limit. The universe
That's
is our
right.
limit
We should
somehow.
change that.
Anyway, no, great discussion. Thank you, Amandine and Marco, and all our chairs, vice chairs, coordinators, and members all around the world. Again, we're here for serving you and serving aviation worldwide. Okay, so please join our chapters, volunteer with our chapters, and reach out to your local leaders and slash or the association if you have any concerns, questions, issues, but also ideas. You see opportunities, and you want to do something with, for, or about ENAC alumni. Okay. And we're going to move to the next segment to make sure that we finish on time. Okay, and actually the next segment, it's all about you. Okay, it's a town hall moment, which means that it's kind of an open mic moment, which means that I would like to hear from you, everyone. Okay, we would like to right now to get your questions. Okay, and we'll do our best to provide answers to these questions. So, do we have questions in the chat box to start with?
No, we don't.
I don't see any questions. Okay. Does anyone in this virtual room have questions? And I hope the answer is yes, you should have questions. Alternatively, you can also talk about your experience with ENAC alumni, of course. While we're waiting for your questions to come up, I'm going to call out directly some of our members in the virtual room, and I see that. Sorry, let me scroll down. Having some issues with Zoom here. Frédéric Barrault is in the virtual room with us today. Hi, Frédéric. What's happening in the Andes y Cono Sur region? How's the chapter? Is the force strong with the chapter?
Well, hi everybody. My name is Frédéric Barrault. I'm chair of the Andes y Cono Sur chapter. We are trying to develop our chapter, but it's quite difficult because, as an example, I'm living in Peru and the Peruvians, they live in Toulouse. But we are going to next year, a few things which were said today. Next year, we are going to have regular meetings and we will associate aviation professionals. So, I saw Marco a few seconds ago. So I will get in touch with Brazilians because we can speak Spanish all together. And then when they speak Brazilian, we can understand each other if we don't speak too quickly. So that's the idea, is to promote people who are working in the aviation business in South America. And the other idea was said by Clementine. The idea is to associate young people, to let them know about ENAC. It's a beautiful school. And one of my dreams is one day we could create a similar school, the Peruvian ENAC, as an example. It would be great. Because I notice in Peru, people, they don't speak to each other. So ENAC alumni can really help people to get in touch with. And so we hope to have good results to present to you next year. Thanks, Gaël.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Fred, for sharing with us. And what you said is true, is that our chapters can also serve as a platform, as a forum, for aviation professionals and leaders at the national level, to discuss issues and advance some of these issues. We've seen in so many parts of the world already where ENAC alumni made a difference, again, at the national level. So let's make sure it happens as well in your region. Thank you. Jean-Michel, you are leading, I think, our number 1 or number 2 chapter when it comes to the number of members. What's up in Occitanie? Can you say a few words about what you're doing there and the great job that you're doing at making sure the outreach goes, to all the different parts of Occitanie?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Gaël. I think the main point here is Occitanie is the region that embeds our headquarters, let's say, the ENAC school for sure, but also the ENAC alumni central, I would say, central entity.
Mothership.
Yeah, you see what I mean. So it's an advantage for us, for sure. It's mainly an advantage, but I have to find as a new chair for the chapter Occitanie a way to find, let's say, a different offer than the one already offered here locally. So my first, I would say, my first initiative as a chair for the chapter was to open to other cities or other parts of Occitanie, and I started with Montpellier. So we organized the first after work in Montpellier in ENAC premises with a lot of students because you already know, I think that we have some students as well in Montpellier, the apprentices, engineers apprentices. So basically they spend 1.5 years in Montpellier and the rest in Toulouse. So the after work was a success thanks to the students. Unfortunately, I only managed to have 1 additional alumni more myself. So we were 2, but that was a start. I'm not sure that there are a lot of alumni in the region, but there are more for sure. So I hope we'll do it again next year. That's the plan. So my plans for the future would be maybe to organize another event in another town of Occitanie. Could be maybe Castres, could be Tarbes. Well, we know that there are some alumni, and then for sure to go on. There are many activities here in Toulouse, so I attend every time I can. So we have some synergies for sure with Estelle, and we talk regularly. But yeah, I would be my first axis would be to try to go out of Toulouse because there are a lot of things here in Toulouse.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Jean-Michel. And don't be too modest. A lot is happening in Toulouse, of course. A lot of events there. Working also with Estelle, of course, for running that dense agenda, dense calendar of events in Toulouse. But as you said, we have members in clusters, if you want, of members in other cities and areas of Occitanie. And I know that over the past few years, the outreach has been a bit difficult, okay, with start and stops, and a bit of back and forth outside of Toulouse. I'm talking about outside of Toulouse. But now Jean-Michel is running the show, is leading that chapter, okay? And please volunteer with the chapter Occitanie, okay? Show interest in being active with Occitanie chapter. It's a big group, huge potential. And again, this year, 2025, we kind of reset the clock when it comes to the leadership of the chapter and the way we do outreach and the way we want to do outreach with purpose. Okay, we want to be not just in Toulouse, but all across Occitanie with events, close to our members, wherever they are again, and making sure that we do after works in else there as well. Okay.
We still organize afterwards in Toulouse as well. We don't abandon Toulouse. This is not the
Absolutely.
plan either, but
Absolutely.
I don't want to focus
It's about
only.
expanding operations. It's not about changing anything that all the great things that have been happening in Toulouse, of
I
course.
hope
Of
there
course.
is no misunderstanding. That the plan is not to
Absolutely.
abandon Toulouse. And it remains the city in Occitanie where most of alumni are living.
No, the point here is that if you are in Occitanie, if you feel that we've been focusing too much on Toulouse, things are coming to you as well. And very importantly, if you want to contribute to that movement, please raise your hand. Volunteer, with the Occitanie chapter and reach out to Jean-Michel to see how you can work together, to coordinate something again
In Toulouse
elsewhere
or
in Occitanie. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jean-Michel. And maybe we can have a few words from another region of the world. What about? I see that André Nzuzi is online, our chair in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is a very active chapter. It's a very active chapter, and I believe that you're meeting next week, isn't it, André? Are you with us? Do you want to say a few words about all the great things that are happening in the DRC with the chapter? Maybe we are having some connections, some connection issues here. Okay. Questions, comments, or if I skipped any other chair or vice chair, I'm sorry about that. And it's your moment if you want to unmute yourself and say a few words about your chapter and your group. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Hi, Gaël. This is
Please.
Moses. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, Moses. How are you?
I'm fine,
Long
thank you
time.
very much. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll just video myself here. Okay, so glad to meet all of you and very, very interesting proceedings. As you know, I'm located in Michigan, but I'm part of the Eastern and Southern African alumni chapter. So that's why you see the background behind me. As we talk about technology and we talk about all the good things, the meetings, I just was brought to reality over the past month and maybe or so on a very, very different nature of our alumni association. And that's actually supporting members and their families of our alumni members who pass away. Because once again, that's life. And even though we're at flight level 340, sometimes we're brought down to earth. And that's one thing. Just want to say that there's also another great role that the Alumni Association plays in the various regions, which is supporting our members during this very tough moment. So just wanted to give a shout out. I know Karine is online somewhere there, doing a great job in Eastern and Southern Africa. So I wanted just to give a little shout out there. And thank you very much for the time. And I wish you all great holidays if we don't meet. But I'll be touring the US and probably Canada if it's not too cold. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Moses. And Karen, please, would you like to say a few words?
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to actually this is my first time participating in the International Day of Chapters. I'm glad I was able to join in and get to hear from different chapters and sorry. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to join and hear and learn from other chapters what you're doing. And yeah, I would say that it it has been a bit of a challenge based on the nature of our chapter members are located in really all over the place, and so it hasn't been so very easy to organize and really arrange activities and events as we would have liked to do. But yeah, we're still learning. We're still improving, and really, Mr. Moses is a very, very supportive and very uh, helpful in so many ways in assisting our chapter. So yeah, we're grateful to have him. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Thank you both for your action and talked about the struggle of doing outreach with a big region with members all across that large area and we have similar difficulties in the United States, for instance, but even Brazil, Canada, etc., and other regional chapters and we're working on it. But any good ideas from members, in order to foster that collaboration, friendship, etc., across vast regions of the world where we have these regional chapters, with a lot of members, but very low density of members, if you want. We welcome all suggestions. Okay, because of course we can use online tools and we do that, but we want to go beyond, the whatever Zoom or Teams meeting. Any good suggestions any suggestions here is welcome in order to better serve the local community and facilitate, the connection between the different dots, of members that we have, on the map. And I think that André did solve his audio issues. That will be maybe the last word before we move to the next segment. André, you want to say a few words about the DRC?
Bonsoir Gaël, bonsoir tout le monde. Je préfère m'exprimer en français pour une bonne compréhension parce que
Please go ahead.
j'ai un peu de soucis avec l'anglais, mais je ne sais pas si les amis vont me comprendre un peu là. Allô?
Yeah, it should not be a problem. Tu peux
Ok,
aller tu
donc
peux y aller en français.
je m'exprime en français.
Pas de problème.
Permettez-moi, avant toute chose, d'exprimer ma reconnaissance pour cette rencontre qui marque une étape très importante pour notre association. Au fait, notre présence ici justifie que l'ENAC Alumni est dans l'esprit de tous les alumni de la RDC. Alors, vous allez constater que notre cher a rencontré un peu de problèmes durant l'année écoulée, compte tenu de départ en masse de retraités. Donc, sur les 15 que nous sommes, les actifs, nous sommes 15, il y a 7 qui sont partis en retraite. Et cela a un peu de motivé notre réseau, notre cher alumni. Mais toutefois, le groupe est resté quand même solide parce que nous avons pu organiser des conférences au niveau des universités, mais aussi notre soutien au niveau institutionnel. Vous connaissez les problèmes que nous avons dans notre pays, entre autres la modernisation des infrastructures. Alors, notre groupe a été vraiment consulté, il y a eu une reconnaissance. Alors, même ceux qui sont en retraite, et on les a invités à participer et puis à contribuer surtout à ce qui est de la certification des aéroports, mais aussi au niveau de la navigation aérienne. Pour la feuille de route 2026, alors nous nous sommes convenus en principe, on devrait se retrouver le dimanche dernier, mais chez les doyens, l'un des doyens, aujourd'hui, il a 86 ans, alors il a souhaité que nous soyons chez lui. Alors, c'est là où nous allons arrêter notre feuille de route 2026. En fait, il y a quand même des projets parce que nous voudrions vraiment être visibles, mais aussi actifs au sein de notre association, tant au niveau national, au niveau africain, aussi au niveau mondial. Mais sinon, dans l'ensemble, vraiment, nous sommes restés solides. Et il y a des échanges, entre autres, qui se font, même si parfois nous ne formons pas au niveau de notre secrétariat, mais nous sommes restés solides et actifs.
Très bien. Non, merci André. C'est formidable ce que vous faites tous ensemble, localement en RDC, pour toujours le progrès de l'aviation localement, et la promotion de l'aviation au niveau national. Je suis très content que
Ok,
vous
merci beaucoup. Donc,
pourrez faire cette
le
réunion très
dimanche,
bientôt.
oui. Ok, merci beaucoup, Gaël.
Merci, André. So for the non-French speakers, André was talking about the difficulties to keep that group alive with part of the membership that was retiring, okay? But also was acknowledging the fact that this group that is extremely active, is very influential at the national level, and they will meet in a few days, together in order to talk about key challenges, in DRC when it comes to modernizing aviation, its infrastructures and else, and these discussions do feed, if you want, the conversation at the national level. So again, a chapter that is somehow a forum, for advancing aviation at the national level. Okay, very good. And I don't see any new questions in the chat box, so we're going to move to the next segment. But before we do that, we're going to have a bit of fun here. We're going to play a game. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, and you can win ENAC alumni swags. Okay, a lot of goodies and else that we'll send to the winner. Okay, so the winner will be the first to give the exact answer or the nearest value by the time we introduce our chair of the year. Okay, and the question is, okay, you ready? How many alumni do we have as of today? Okay, there's a count that is available on the website, basically. Okay, how many ENAC alumni, are registered, if you want, listed as of today? That's the quiz of the 2025 International Day of the Chapters. Okay, let's move to the next segment. Your money at work, where does your annual due go? And for the sake of time, because we want to finish on time, I'm going to say a few words about that. And you will hear more about that topic in next year, actually. For your awareness, ENAC Alumni has a task force on annual dues and active membership. Okay, that is being chaired by Eva and Pierre. Okay, Eva Carrier and Pierre Portier, and they will share with you the findings, if you want, and recommendations of that task force as soon as it's concluded. My message here is that the annual due is very important. It's a significant portion of our budget that is coming directly from you, through the active membership, but also donations. You can donate to ENAC alumni. You can go on our website, and again, a few clicks, you can donate to the association. That money serves to fuel, if you want, all these activities and programs that we're doing all year long. Okay, so it is very important for us to get your active membership. And again, when you pay your annual due, that's a necessary condition in order for you to vote in the elections of the Board of Administrators, okay, and any association referendum that we may do. Okay, it's also a necessary condition for you to run for a seat at the Board of Administrators. Okay, so all the life, that part of the life of the association, is only for active members, if you want. So it's important to hear your voice. Also, your annual membership gives you access to a bunch of services and discounts that we give only to active members. And I know that sometimes it's a bit hard to see, all these benefits, and that's one of the many reasons why that task force was created, with Eva and Pierre leading the conversation, and we'll be communicating more next year, on all these advantages and so on. But again, regardless if you can or cannot, pay your annual due, you're a member of ENAC alumni. That's not a necessary condition to pay your annual due to be part of the association. You're in. Okay. However, active member, it's a particular title, okay, that we give to members that are paying their annual due, and that gives you a voice, in the elections, for the Board of Administrators and any other referendums, any referendum that we do within the association. And also, of course, it's about you supporting also, the association in that way, helping with the funding of the association, all the activities and programs that we run all the year. We talked about some of them during that meeting today so far. Okay, it's just a sneak peek into everything that is happening all year long. Again, if you don't believe me, go to the website. Okay, look at the calendar, look at everything that is happening that we're communicating about on social media platforms and so on. Go to our YouTube channel and see all the webinars, the recording of events and so on that are happening. All of that is also thanks to our volunteers, but also thanks to our active members that I would like to recognize today. Okay. And again, we will finish on time. So we move to the next segment, the 2024 Chair of the Year Award. Before we switch to that segment, I'm going to close. Okay, we already have a winner, I guess. So who, Estelle, who is our winner for the quiz?
Olga.
Olga, congratulations, Olga. Olga Tsipan is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I'm happy. I'm good with figures. Actually, I've got financial profile. That's why.
Excellent.
But there
Super.
were a lot of correct answers, so it was not only me.
That's true. That's true. See a bunch of correct answers here. But you were first. So you are our winner this year. Okay. And Estelle will send you in the next coming days a package with a selection of goodies and else from ENAC alumni. Okay. Thank you
Yes,
for
with
being with us
pleasure.
today. Absolutely. And
Oh, with pleasure.
congratulations.
Thank you. But Estelle, let's coordinate between us because I'm abroad and I'm coming beginning 2026.
That's not a
So
problem. We ship all around the world. You're not on the moon, right? Okay. So yes, on the or in the International Space Station, except for these two locations, we ship everywhere around the world. Okay, we're a global association, so that's not a problem.
excellent. That's why I love aviation. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and without further ado, the 2024 Chair of the Year Award is Marguerite Genevel-Hermite, IENAC 18 APPR. Okay. Marguerite is the vice chair of the airport think tank, okay, but she is also the founding chair of ENAC Alumni Germany, okay. She left Germany a few months ago, okay, stepped down from her chair position of the chapter, and we have a new chair now. But we collectively, okay, gave her the Chair of the Year Award for 2024 because of her dedication, in the inception of the Germany chapter and everything that she's been doing for the association, including volunteering right after, leaving Germany and coming back to France, with the airport think tank and becoming one of our vice chairs for that think tank. You may have a few questions, like, for instance, why are we giving the Chair of the Year 2024 in December 2025? So here is the thing. The Chair of the Year, again, is this is an award that is given by the Council of the Chapters, and we are holding that vote for among the different people that are selected for that award, for receiving that award, in the last quarterly call that we have during a certain year. Okay, so so that happened after the International Day of the Chapters 2024, and that's why we're giving the Chair of the Year Award 2024 today in December 2025. Okay, but we are here to talk about Marguerite again. Thank you so much, Marguerite, for volunteering with the association. Thank you for all your work on creating and jump-starting the chapter in Germany. And do we have Marguerite in the virtual room today with us? Are you here, Marguerite?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to say a few words?
No, I just wanted to say thank you.
Well,
And
thank
it
you.
was a pleasure to create the chapter, even if the chapter is looking for a new chair. No. Yes, well, it was not easy to bring people together in Germany because people are spread out everywhere in Germany. But it was a nice thing to do, and I think the beginning of everything is always the most difficult. So I hope that it can continue with a new person.
No, absolutely. And again, thank you for volunteering with the association and for being so active. And here is something very important that is kind of a behind the scene reality is that being a chair, a vice chair, or a coordinator with a chapter, it's a lot of work. You know, you might not realize that, but it takes time to bring people together, do the outreach, plan for and hold all of these events. So again, I would like to give big thanks and big kudos to all our current, but also former chairs, vice chairs, coordinators, and volunteers. Okay, it takes a lot for running these local, national and regional shows, chapters, groups, and so on. Making all these things happening, creating that difference, not only for the local alumni community, but also for aviation nationally and regionally and beyond. So thank you, everyone. And of course, thank you, Marguerite. And again, congratulations for being the recipient of the 2024 Chair of the Year Award. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Having some glitches here with the slides. Can you see my screen?
No.
I think my screen disappeared somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's black.
Interesting. Let me fix that. It's a live event. See, we're having all the. I think I found what happened here. Can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Perfect.
So just a couple of announcements, or actually, you know what? We're going to keep it simple because time flies. It's already 20:38 p.m. US Eastern Time here. So just a reminder that we publish a lot of very good things on our website, okay, from our workshops, from our research projects, because we do run research projects for our roundtables and so on. And if you scan these two QR codes, for instance, you will have access to all the publications of the airport think tank, and in particular, the Future of Airports, a vision of 2040 and 2070. We released the new version and final version of that research report in December 2024. And that other great report on sustainable or decarbonized, if you want, aircraft technologies. Okay, it's a thick report that gives you a lot of excellent information and subject matter expertise on greener aircraft technologies. Okay, and these are just two examples of all the knowledge that you can find on the website. And don't forget also the YouTube channel. So many excellent webinars on so many different subjects, aviation and non-aviation related. Okay, we talk also about human resources, careers, and so on in these webinars. And they're all available for you for free on our YouTube channel. Okay, just a reminder. Very good. And now it's time for our final segment, last but definitely not the least, with our keynote speaker, Jen HUPE, MSMA 89, who is the Deputy Director of Environment of the Air Transport Directorate of ICAO. Okay, so Jane, again, is the Deputy Director of the Environmental Program at ICAO and the Secretary of the ICAO Council's Committee on Aviation Environmental Protection, the famous CAEP. Okay, she plays a key role in leading the institution's efforts to define and promote policies and standards for environmentally friendly aviation. She manages a portfolio that includes aircraft noise, local air quality, global climate, clean energy, and sustainable aviation fuels, adaptation, circular economy, and a global market-based measure for international aviation. All great topics, and I want to take this opportunity to remind you that one of the pillars of the statute of our association, okay, is not only to serve the alumni community, but also to advance sustainable aviation, right? And so Jen is currently leading the organization's effort in green aviation and the assessment of options for long-term carbon emission reduction targets. Under her leadership, ICAO is prioritizing work on the feasibility of a long-term ambitious global goal, LTAG, for international aviation. This work is essential to support the ICAO Council's efforts to lead the sector towards a sustainable aviation future. Okay, so Jane, thank you so much for being with us today, and the floor is yours. Thank you for leadership, your leadership at ICAO and on sustainable aviation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm of course delighted to be here in this ENAC Alumni International Day of the Chapters as one of the prior alumni. So basically, you've already mentioned my work in ICAO. I am the head of all the environmental program of the organization. I've been now in ICAO for basically 28 years. I've been working more than 40 in the theme of aviation and environment. I decided that rather than giving one of those formal keynote speeches, I would just address you informally. And as I had an amazing journey with my career in aviation and environment, I thought that maybe that could inspire some of you in that area as well, and raise some ideas for the alumni chapters to develop more programs in that area. So there we go. In a very early stage of my life, I already knew that I had two passions. You know, I'm one of those people that know what I want. I knew what I wanted from very early times, and it was environment and it was aviation. And you all have to realize that very few people knew what environment or sustainability was at that time. So people say, you are going to do what? And I had to explain, half an hour what was that. I was extremely inspired by a movement at the time, and it was, in fact, a UN meeting that raised my interest on sustainability. Some of you were not born at that time, but we had a very important meeting of the UN. It was a meeting that talked about human environment. What was the name of the meeting? Is the UN Conference on Human Environment. That was in 1972. It was the first time that the expression sustainable development came into play. And that changed the way the world started behaving and looking at development. And that was and continues to be super big in everything we do. I think now we can realize the impact of that conference. In my life was huge, because that was then my decision that this was what I wanted to do. And I wanted to do that sustainable development in a specific area that was aviation, because to me, it was the most innovative thing in the world. I loved to fly. I loved airports, everything related to aviation. And aviation is innovation. Aviation is technology. And when you're talking about development, you cannot talk about development without talking about innovation and technologies. And that's why I think this matched so nicely. So I was already working on aviation and environment when we had a meeting in Rio. I'm from Brazil. There was a meeting in Rio, the Rio 92 conference. I was super young. I had just graduated, but I was so eager, so I prepared a poster session. Poster session is what we have now on side events and virtual events. We had in this time just poster sessions. You had to prepare on paper a poster to bring to the meeting and explain what was your project or what was your. So I did that, and I talked about aviation and environment in Brazil, and the things that we were trying to do with the regulations, etc. So at that time, environmental impact of airports was a big issue. So we were starting to create those reports on the impact of creating new airports. And we were already addressing this regulation for one of the biggest airports we have in Brazil, which is Guarulhos Airport in São Paulo. So it was everything about how to do this impact assessment with the noise, with the local air quality, with CO2, with water, the whole spectrum. And, I was, life goes on. I did a lot of things. I worked then with sustainable aviation fuels already early in my career, land use planning, name one. I'm a very curious person. I was then doing some consultancies for South America because there were no other consultants that could speak the language. So ICAO hired me to do something in South America, and I was released from my work in Brazil to do that when they invited me to go to Montreal. And I was already there running the program. The program, when I arrived, barely had climate change. Now climate change is the biggest issue we are doing in ICAO. But then, you know, it went from the 72 meeting to the Rio meeting in 92 to the Rio Plus 20. And Rio Plus 20 was a completely game changer for aviation. I was crazy enough to decide that the Rio Plus 20 will be the time that we will show the world that clean energy was possible for aviation and that aviation could really be sustainable. So I did something I'll never do again in my life. That was to plan 4 constant flights from Montreal to Rio, carrying on board the Secretary General of ICAO using sustainable fuel. So we had to find the sustainable fuel, and we're talking about many years ago. To find it now is already difficult. You can imagine what we are talking about. So it went from Montreal to Toronto to Mexico City to Guarulhos to Rio. And in all those segments, we had different airlines, were commercial flights, different airlines, different fuels, etc. And every time that we would stop in one of those stops, we would talk about sustainable fuels. We will bring the news to everybody saying you can fly even on cotton T-shirts if you want. You know, and everybody was mesmerized with it, saying, how come? So we arrived in Rio, we did a big press conference. And that's where I think the world started to talk really seriously about sustainable aviation fuels. That was very impactful. I was very pleased then I'm just following the sustainable development thing. A few years later, we had a celebration of Stockholm plus 50. We have to understand if that conference in 72 was so powerful. There was a report that came out in 87 that the title was The World We Want. And The World We Want is one of the most powerful reports ever. If you like the subject, please read. That is a life changer report. And in Stockholm plus 50 coincided with an assembly year of ICAO 22. And in fact, was the year that we adopted the long-term goal. And I wanted really to showcase that you had to have the 4 pillars to move forward and to be sustainable. You had to have the goal, you had to have the legal framework, everything that was a rule really implemented. Then you had to monitor that, but then you had to have capacity building and finance. And capacity building for SAF, you know, had a very few countries only that could talk about the subject, to understand the subject. So we decided to create, to celebrate the Stockholm Plus 50. I thought the most important thing we could do was a capacity building program, and is where we launched in ICAO something called Act SAF. Act SAF now is a huge success story. We outreach so many countries. We are doing with voluntary contributions, feasibility studies for SAF in so many different countries, mainly in Africa. We have 20 already ongoing. We are aiming at 50. And why is that a game changer? And why did we choose that to be the theme? Because you see, fossil fuel have 1 or 2 handful of countries that can provide energy to aviation with fossil fuel. We are 193 member states in ICAO, and to produce clean energy for aviation, I have potentially 193 countries. And if that's not a game changer, what is it? So the problem is we have a goal established, you know, by 2050 we'll be net zero. But in that run, clean energy will be the responsible of the most of the achievement of that goal. So if you're not in that game, you probably will not be participating in and contributing to that goal. So we thought that by creating the basic grounds for each of those countries to produce sustainable aviation fuels would be the bigger game changer we could address. And we did that. It's very successful. We are doing that right now. Kenya, by the way, is already producing sustainable aviation fuels. Nobody thought an African country will still this year be providing sustainable fuels. I'm extremely excited, of course, with that program. I think we, looking at my my background and my academic learning, I think ENAC was fundamental in teaching me basically everything I know about aircraft, aviation, flying. We had to complement that with so many different courses and specializations afterwards. You have to be up to date, but you need an academic background on a place that has academic excellence for you to form yourself and to be able to look into the challenges and programs and solving them in the right procedure way. The future, when I chose aviation and environment, nobody understood. There's a lot of things that the young generation is doing that nobody understands. I love to see when someone comes to me and try to explain that they are doing something that I have no clue, because that means that can be exactly what we need for the future. I think that we will have a flying future. I have no doubt about that, guys. It's a flying future. It's not down here. It's not in the water. It's flying. Flying is so much more easier. We can make it sustainable. Its technology is coming. It's faster. It's easier. It will be in the future known as the less polluting, because you don't change don't change the earth, which is right now one of our more valuable assets, and we have to preserve it. We will have to adapt because climate change is happening. We will have to adapt. We will have to be creative. We'll have to continue to ask why. We'll have to come with all these answers. And, each of the alumni chapters can do a tremendous job in that. I think that we have to continue to be, let me say that it is so important that we continue to ask the right questions, right? AI will come. It's here already, and I use it every single day. It's here to help us, and the way it's helping us very much is time. It's accelerating our answers. You have our answers right now, right there. We have to feed it correctly. We have to use it correctly, but that will help aviation to be in every single area to be good, be doing this jump that would otherwise take forever. So I hope that inspires all of you on that subject matter. I will just, again, I'll mention the Brundtland report, because it's incredible that more than 40 years ago, the conclusion of the report was already to have rapid technology innovation, energy transition, and international cooperation. And if we had this today, I don't think the three topics would be different. Here is all about international cooperation, by the way. And we are talking about technology innovation and energy transition in that cooperation. It's very thoughtful. So I would like to leave also with some thoughts on my career. I was a firm believer, really a believer, that if you had the passion and if you worked hard, that would be it. And I was totally wrong. You have to have the passion. You have to work hard, that's for sure. But you have to have creativity. You have to reinvent the wheel every day. You have to have this vision on where you have to go. And that vision cannot be fixed. That vision changes with the creativity, with the world. So I think there will be three more elements. I think creativity, vision, and also adaptation to the environment. Things are changing, you have to change with. Don't stuck. If you're stuck, you cease to be relevant. So I'd like to leave you with that thought, because I think that goes completely together with everything we were talking about here today. I'm very inspired also by the dedication of all of you, on the chapters. This is super cool. And I would like just to invite you, to also enlighten yourselves or bring more knowledge to our networks in ACTSAF. I think this is one of the most powerful things we have in our hands right now in ICAO in terms of exchange of knowledge on clean energy, which is really the bulk of what we have to do for the future. If we resolve sustainable energy for aviation will be then reaching its goal. So this is something very important. ACSAF has a knowledge hub, so I invite you all to participate into that. I think that was basically what I would like to share with you today about the work of ICAO. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, but today here I'm really thrilled to be sharing my life experience and how that evolved, and the evolution was just together with the evolution of a theme which is very dear to aviation, which is sustainable development. And with that, I really thank immensely Amandine, Gaël, Marc. Thank you for the invitation, and thank all of you for your attention today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much for being with us today and for your speech that I'm sure resonate very strongly in this virtual room into every single alumnus or alumna who's going to watch this recording on our YouTube channel afterward. Because again, I'm repeating myself, but sustainable aviation is literally in our, advancing and supporting sustainable aviation is literally in the statute of the association. We said several times, and that's kind of what you said as well. I mean, aviation is progress. Aviation is bringing not only a unique type of high-speed mobility to the world, but it's also a tool for emergency response, public services, so many different things at the same time. But to keep flying in the context of climate change and other negative externalities that come from aviation, but not only aviation, but aviation included, we need to find our path to sustainable aviation. That's very important, and that's something that we voiced strongly in all those different forums that we're active in. Do we have questions for Jane, please? You can raise your hand or unmute yourself if you have questions. See, Jane, I think that what you said was so inspirational and comprehensive that our great attendance doesn't have questions for you.
It's perfect. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you again, Jane, for being with us today and for sharing with our members about your career, but also all the great things that are happening at the ICAO level when it comes to advancing sustainable aviation and sustainable goals for aviation. Very good. You know what? It's 12:59 p.m. US Eastern Time. Believe it or not, we are right on time. We're going to finish on time this year. And I would like to thank you so much for, again, everything that you're doing all year long, all your support to the association, all your contribution to advancing aviation and important aviation topics such as sustainable aviation that we've heard a lot about it today. We need you. We still need you, to volunteer with your chapters, with the association. Please be an active member if you can. And very important, please let us know if you have questions, if you have needs, if you see opportunities, and if you have ideas. Okay, for ENAC alumni, for the great aviation industry, for today and tomorrow. Okay. Again, we're going to close this live segment of the International Day of the Chapters. It's not the end of IDC. all day long, we're going to release new videos on the YouTube channel of the association in the playlist 2025 International Day of the Chapters. If you liked what you've heard today, okay, if you are inspired by any of the topics that we discussed today, please share on social media with the hashtag IDC 2025. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll have a lot of opportunities very soon, to meet together virtually or in person, in the next coming months in 2026, obviously, or before that, if we meet during the holidays. I wish you all the best to you and yours. Okay. Enjoy the holidays. Happy New Year. All my best wishes with health, wealth, and more. Okay. And see you soon. Fly safe, everyone. And thank you.